Hi, everybody. My name is Christina Kleppinger. I'm a casting and outreach specialist for Backstage located here in LA. We really wish we could be there in person with you, but I'm really thrilled that we're still able to participate in the 72-hour shootout and give you a little demo of our site. I know that my coworker Christine gave you a really thorough demo of the general casting features that we have on the site. Rather than rehashing all of that for you, I would rather just show you some new things that have been in the pipeline for a while and we're finally ready to share with you, especially highlighting resources for you to cast remotely right now when you can't necessarily have actors come in for auditions like normal. Let me share my screen with you. So a few things just to know. I know that Christine covered a lot of this, but our talent dashboard is incredibly useful. It's nice to know that actors can update their photos as often as they want. They can add new video reels and audio reels. It really helps you as a filmmaker or a casting director to identify which talent are the right people for you. Maybe a talent with a really bare bones profile that doesn't have a lot of photos may not be someone that's taking it so seriously because we have such a great set of tools for actors to showcase their work. The other thing to be aware of is that on the site, you'll see under each actor's name, their SAG status. That'll say SAG-AFTRA or non-union or Actors Equity. It's important to be aware of that, and so we want to make it right up in front and easy for you guys to tell union actors versus non-union actors so that you can cast according to your project type. Now, a couple of the remote casting tools that I wanted to talk to you about. Christine talked about this one a little bit. Right now, something that a lot of filmmakers are using is self-taped auditions, where you send sides to the actors, they record themselves and send them right back to you. Self-tapes are great. I think that especially our system is incredibly easy to use. Under each actor's profile within your casting dashboard, everybody that's applied to you, you'll see that little icon under their name with the person and the camera. That's as simple as it gets. You just click on that. You can write them a little message and attach your sides for them there, and then they'll just message you back the audition that they record. The nice thing is that all of that stays right there inside your casting dashboard. There's no hunting it down later. There's no having to keep track of a million emails. All of their applications and all of their self-tapes stay right there inside the dashboard for you. They also will appear inside that messaging feature if you'd rather sort through them that way. But we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to see, these are the people I've sent audition requests to, these are the people who have already sent them back, and then their auditions are right there for you. I would also encourage you guys to really use those sorting tools and the annotation tools under the talent profiles. That thumbs up, thumbs down, the actors don't necessarily see any of that. They know that they applied for your job and they either hear back from you or they don't. So we want to make it as easy as possible for you to say, these are the people that are right for me that I'm interested in. These are the people that I'm not. So that thumbs up, thumbs down, if an actor is way outside the age range or just not the right person for you, they get a quick thumbs down, they move into that no category. Again, the actors don't see that, so you don't have to worry about hurting any feelings. They just move out of the way so that you can continue with your casting process as easily as possible. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out under the talent profile is that notes feature. You'll see a little square and a pencil. That's an easy way, especially if you're working with collaborators, to leave each other notes about talent, to say, you know, maybe you moved this person into the no category and I know he's the wrong age, but I would really like to have him audition. It's, again, the actors don't see any of that. It's just for you and your team to be able to keep track of who you're interested in. A couple things when you're sending out self-tapes that I would advise you for is give a little bit more detail. The actors aren't there physically in the room with you so that you can talk to them about the project. So when you send your self-tape request, it's important to give the actors a little bit of context for what the scene is. Audition scenes are usually something like maybe smack dab in the middle of your script, and so they haven't seen anything that comes before or after. So if you give them a little context, you know, this is what's happening in the scene, this is what just happened to the character, you're going to give the actors more tools to give you a better audition back. You obviously don't have to make this a really long thing, but just giving them a little bit of context will go miles in getting you the best auditions possible. You also want to give actors any additional instructions. Things like, I need you to give me a slate with your name and your union status and your height, whatever it might be. Any of those instructions, make sure they're as clear as possible inside this message that you send inviting them to self-tape. That way, when the actors start the process, they already have all of the tools and all of the instructions that they need to really give you a good audition. Remember, when we're auditioning actors, we want to see their best work. And so more tools you can give them up front so that then they can just focus on the performance and get you what you need, the easier your casting process is going to be at the end of the day. You can request self-taped auditions for video auditions, obviously. The other thing that we have is the ability to ask for a vocal audition. So voiceover projects, whether it's an animation project, whether you're looking for a narrator for your piece, we work with a lot of documentary filmmakers that are looking for voiceover to be their narration for the documentary. You can also request that kind of self-tape from an actor of a voiceover audition. The nice thing that we've rolled out is the ability to request specifically voiceover work. So if you're looking for voices for whatever the project is, and you don't necessarily need to see what an actor looks like at all for the process, you can put out a voiceover audition call. This is really nice because you get to be a little bit more specific for things that really matter for voiceover. So rather saying, we need this kind of headshot or this kind of video reel, you can get into the nitty-gritty. We need someone who can do a standard British accent. We need someone who can speak these languages. We need someone who can do these kind of character voices. You get to really get into the details of your voiceover job and ask actors to send you their best work again. Same thing, you can request a video or a self-tape audition from your actors for this as well. This just helps you kind of pinpoint, I'm just looking for voiceover. We've actually seen with everything that's changing in the industry right now, more and more people pivoting to voiceover, whether it's for commercial jobs or for podcasts or for, you know, like I said, documentary or animation, whatever it is, if you're trying to film talent remotely, this might be a really helpful tool for you. Know that when you send out a voiceover casting notice, what you'll get back is people's voiceover profile. So we now allow actors to have their on-camera acting profile, as well as a separate sub-profile for voiceover work. So when you put out a voiceover call, you're going to get this voiceover profile. So you may not see all of their headshots or whatever, but you will see all of their voice reels, any clips that they have, any special training that they have in voiceover will all be included in that profile for you. And this is what that casting notice looks like. Like with any casting notice, if you can give us a little detail about the project, about the characters, about what kind of voices you're looking for, the same way you would with a casting notice for an on-camera job, you're going to get a better selection of actors because all of those details are things that make actors more excited for the work. You'll also have the opportunity to sort by gender or age range. Keep in mind, though, that often actors, especially trained voice actors, can throw their voice to sound much older or much younger, sound like the opposite gender, sound like whatever characters you want. So you also have the freedom to say, I want a very wide age range and whatever, as long as you can do the voice that I'm looking for. You always in casting want to give yourself the best options that you can and the most number of options that you can. So widening things like your age range or your gender or what specifics you need can sometimes help with that. The last thing I want to talk you guys through is our new virtual audition feature for remote casting. We're really excited about this because it kind of takes the in-room casting experience and moves it online, which right now is incredibly important as we're concerned for your health and your safety, and we want to keep everyone safe. This is an incredibly simple system to use. You would just simply, there's a couple ways to do it. You can either create a full virtual audition schedule and plug talent in, or you can select the talent that you want, and instead of sending them an in-person audition request, you're sending them a virtual audition request. Virtual auditions take place sort of on a similar feature to something like FaceTime or Zoom or Google Hangouts. You're working with the actors like this, but you get to actually be live with the actors. It's not you sending them the sides and they send you back the self-tape. You're kind of in a virtual room with them, getting to audition them. I am personally so excited about this because there is nothing like getting to connect with an actor inside an audition room. And while we may not be able to do that in person right now, we can do that online. And I think that it's important for all of those elements of casting, like, do I gel with this person? Remember that casting is a collaboration between the actors, the performers, and you as a filmmaker or director. So seeing someone's personality in person a little bit, and getting to get a sense of who they are as an artist will help you see, yes, this is a person I can collaborate with and really create something special. Or maybe, no, this person's artistic temperament is not quite right for me, as well as getting to run through the material and give them that kind of more in-person direction. Like I said, the system's incredibly easy to use and set up. And then what you'll be left with is your virtual audition calendar for the day. And you'll see the actors kind of plugged into those spaces. You can either autofill actors or put them in specific times, depending on your schedule and the actor's schedule. From there, you'll literally just find the right time, find the right person, and click on that video, and it opens up the virtual audition with you and your actors. I think as things continue to change in the industry, having all of these tools in your tool belt, so to say, is incredibly important as a filmmaker, and being comfortable with all of this technology is important for us to get across to you. We want to make it as easy as possible to, no matter what the circumstances, even if you're on one end of the country and your actors are on the other end of the country, to make it as easy as possible for you to find the right people for your project and get them on tape. Any questions that you have about this, we'll come right back to these questions for you. We have a really incredible tech team. Not only is our casting outreach team here for you guys as Film Lab participants, 72-hour shootout participants, but we have a really robust set of customer success folks. You'll see at the bottom of every page on Backstage a little message us, or if no one's physically in the office, it'll say leave us a message. That's connected to an actual team of people that know the site in and out and are able to kind of help you with whatever you need. So last thing we wanted to do was talk through some of your questions. I know that you guys had sent questions in, and we wanted to make sure that we get all of those answered for you. So the first one is, can you have actors record remotely and submit via Backstage? Absolutely. I went through those three options. If for whatever reason none of those work, yes, you can also have actors mail you in audition tapes. That's just incredibly clunky, and it makes for a kind of cluttered inbox. We wanted to give you these tools so that everything stays neat. Again, when you request auditions from actors remotely through Backstage, all of it will stay inside that casting dashboard for you. You'll be able to sort via the role and see who sent in their auditions. Everything stays neat. And then, can you conduct auditioning callbacks via Backstage? Same thing. Yes, absolutely. Via that new virtual audition software, it's incredibly simple to conduct auditions and callbacks on Backstage. Now, something that we have seen more and more filmmakers do that might work for you is to request self-tapes as your first round of audition, to kind of sort through talent as far as, you know, who kind of gets the project, gets the role, and who doesn't. And then narrowing that down and taking those people and using the virtual audition software to hold callbacks, to say, these are the people that I already know that I like their acting. They really dug into the role. I want to see more from them, and I want to meet them in person to make sure that we gel, moving those people over into the virtual audition scheduler for callbacks. If you like that live in-person audition, having everything via the virtual audition scheduler is just fine. Now, a thing that I should have mentioned back then, but I'll say now, is that those virtual auditions are also recorded and sent to you, so that you don't have to worry about trying to third-party record them. You don't have to be furiously taking notes about which actors are doing what. You're able to just be in the moment with your actors, directing them, helping them through the scene, and then all of that will be recorded and sent over to you. It doesn't ever go public. It's just for your records. But we've seen a huge amount of success with actors and filmmakers connecting via a variety of those tools and a combination of those tools, whatever might be right for your project. How fast is the Backstage casting process? Incredibly fast. I'm very proud of this for our team. The way that it works, just so you know, is that you'll fill out your casting notice on Backstage and hit submit. It then is vetted by our team. So a version of it goes live with a little warning letting the actors know that we haven't had a chance to look at that notice yet, but it immediately is sent over to our casting editor team. They vet every notice that hits the site. We are an actor resource company, and so we want to make sure that every job that hits the site is safe for our actors to apply to. We don't want anyone taking advantage of them. We don't want any scams to get through. So we have a whole team of people that go through every casting notice. Now, what may happen is the first time you post with Backstage, you're probably going to get an email from that casting editor team. Just because they don't know you, they haven't seen you post on the site before, it's a really quick verification email to let us know that you are who you say you are casting the project that you're saying. You send a quick response to that if you get one, and the casting editor team will get your notice approved. It goes live on the site immediately from there, and it also gets sent out to any actors who might fit into the right categories. Over the last year, we've actually enabled the functionality on our Backstage app so that actors can get jobs to the app and hit apply right there. It makes the process move incredibly quickly. Gone are the days where a casting director would have to send out a notice, collect in-person headshots or submissions, and go through them like that. Right now, the notices will go up live, and you'll start to see applicants right away. If for whatever reason you're not seeing the applicants that you want, you can always reach out to us, and there are some things we can do to help you out on the back end. But you will start to see applicants right away. You could put out a casting notice today and start setting up virtual auditions for tomorrow. We know that especially with something like the 72-hour shootout, speed is key. So knowing that as long as it's kind of Monday through Friday during the day, those notices get approved right away. Over the weekend, they can take a little bit longer just because we have people kind of in and out. But we know that especially with something like I said, the 72-hour shootout, you want to be able to put out a notice, get actors in, and choose who the right people are right away. So yes, that process moves incredibly quickly. How are actors vetted by Backstage? So there's a couple things to note about this. First is that, we aren't a company that says this person isn't a legitimate actor because they don't have an agent, so you can't have a Backstage profile. Anyone who is pursuing acting, pursuing performance can set up a Backstage profile and pay for their subscription. That said, we also work with a variety of theater schools, theater organizations, actors co-ops, acting classes to get their students up on the site and to get their alumni up on the site. So you will see a huge number of actors on the site who have come from incredibly prestigious drama programs, who have come from these really great acting classes, who are being referred by industry experts. So to say that we don't necessarily vet actors to say, you're not qualified, you're just starting out, we want to be able to support those actors as well. What I will say, and this kind of ties into the next question down, if you have a problem with an actor, yes, absolutely report it to us. You can either send an email to us at the casting team, you can talk to that customer success person and say, this actor made me feel uncomfortable, or this actor flaked, and then we can kind of keep track of that on our end. Similarly, yes, if you have a really great experience with an actor, please let us know. We actually also have a couple of ways that we try to highlight those projects. If you cast an actor via Backstage and your film has suddenly blown up and you had a really great experience and the talent is all key to that, we love to hear those stories, and we love to A, get those testimonials down, and then B, whenever we can, we like to feature those stories either through our social media or through some editorial content. Please share with us. We love to hear stories when actors and filmmakers connect. It is the heart and soul of our company. It's that connection between content creators, filmmakers, producers, casting directors, and the performers that kind of make those projects come to life. How much does Backstage cost without the free Film Lab code? That's a great question. So the base cost of a casting notice is $24.99. You can then add additional categories to it. So if your first category is like short film, you can then say it's a short film that's also a spec commercial, or it's a short film that's also a documentary. Those categories cost a little bit more. Highlighting your notice costs a little bit more, but the base cost of putting up a casting notice on Backstage is $24.99. Now, with that free Film Lab code, the way that works is when you get to checkout, when you're putting together your casting notice and you get it over to checkout, you'll put that promo code in the box, hit apply, and it zeroes out the cost for you. So you will not have to pay that $24.99. And then the next question is, how long is the free Film Lab code good for? It's your code. Use it away. We know that your life as a filmmaker doesn't stop after the 72-hour shootout, so continue to use that code. We think of that more as you being part of our network of filmmakers now that came to us through the Film Lab. So continue to use that code as often as you'd like. Why does Backstage support the shootout? I love this question. We love filmmakers. Many of the people that work for Backstage either have come from a casting background, come from a filmmaking background. Some of us have come from acting backgrounds. we love this part of the industry. Like I said, the heart and soul of our company is the connection between someone creating a piece of work and the performers that are going to bring that to life. The idea that filmmakers, not only create art, which we love, but also create jobs for our actors, whether those are paid jobs or not. Acting is acting, and our actors love to flex those muscles. So we love to support organizations like Shootout because they give filmmakers opportunities to create work, which we love. And then that creates, in turn, opportunities for our actors. I'm also of the opinion that something like a 72-hour shootout is just an incredible exercise for filmmakers. I think that the constraints of time and often budget and having to put your project together on the fly like that is really good for you as a filmmaker. I think it creates opportunities to learn problem solving. It creates opportunities to connect with other filmmakers. And I think they're a great way to kind of get something made. I think that's the hardest thing for a filmmaker, is just to get something made. And so an organization like the Shootout or an event like that will give an opportunity to walk away from the end of the 72 hours with something that you have made, which is invaluable for an artist. And then the last one is, how technical is the Backstage account and what resources are there? So I've walked through some of the resources for you. As far as setting up your account, it's incredibly simple, and our filmmaker accounts are free. You'll just go to the site and click for creators and post a job, and it'll prompt you to set up your free filmmaker account. As far as how technical is the Backstage account, if the question is how technical is the site is incredibly intuitive. What I've found is that there are casting platforms that are a little tricky to use. It's hard to navigate, but the nice thing about the Backstage platform is that the navigation is simple. Like I said, everything is very intuitive. When you click on something, it sort of does what you think it would do, and things are kind of located in an intuitive way. I think that because of that, it makes the casting process very smooth. You don't have to kind of stop the creative process of thinking through your actors to remember how to navigate the site. You get to just focus on what you're doing. We have a ton of technical resources for you, not only on that remote casting side, but within the network of the casting accounts itself. Within your casting dashboard, you have a variety of tools to either look through the talent that have already supplied. You can toggle between roles without having to go all the way back to the front page. You can jump from an actor to your messages with that actor and back very simply. We've done our very best to make the site easy for you to use. We don't want the site to be a hurdle in your casting process. We want to make it as easy as possible. We really take pride in the idea that all of these tools work together to create a seamless casting experience. You kind of go from your casting notice through to the submissions, having either live auditions or virtual auditions or requesting self-tapes, all the way through to being able to message actors, get in touch with them, and hire them, all within one suite of tools. As far as additional resources, I think that it doesn't get better than our editorial content. While we may have started as a company that put out editorial content just for actors, more and more on the site, there's incredibly helpful content for filmmakers. We are starting to offer content for crew, hiring crew for your projects, and for people who work crew. We know that the line between someone who is working in a crew position and someone who is also working on content that they may be casting actors for is incredibly blurry. No one is just a PA. Everyone is a PA that is also passionate about filmmaking, who is also working on projects. We want to offer more and more editorial content in relation to that. That said, I also think that it's incredibly helpful for filmmakers to get to know the acting process. Read the editorial content aimed at actors, because that'll give you a shared vocabulary to be able to talk to actors and direct them a little bit better. You'll also see right now we're offering something called the Slate, which is our free online content to keep everybody active and on their toes during the quarantine. So as restrictions are starting to let up, we know that lots of places actors still aren't able to, go out and do plays or do auditions in person. So what we wanted to offer was a set of ways for you to stay on your game, keep working. And I think all of that content is great for filmmakers too. If you go to our magazine homepage, you'll see a little link to the Slate content. It's a full schedule of interviews with folks, Zoom workshops, online workouts, online casting director Q&As or filmmaker Q&As or actor Q&As. I think that's an incredibly helpful resource for you, especially right now when people may not be working as often. Finally, I just wanted to remind you of our code with you, which is that Film Lab promo code. Backstage is here for you. We want to support you in your filmmaking. We want to support you through the 72-hour shootout and beyond as you move into your filmmaking career. If there are ways that we can help, we're always happy to. Please reach out to us. Have fun with the shootout. We hope everybody is staying happy and healthy and safe, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks.